Today is 12th of April. In Russia we celebrate the day of space exploration. 12th of April is the day of the space exploration in Russia. And this is still Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France. And I'm going to walk by foot the route Camino de Santiago, which is very long. It's about 700 or 1,000 kilometers starting from this point. I don't remember actually how long it is, but it's very long. And there is no any official starting point. And you can see there is a symbol of this Camino de Santiago trail, or another name for it is Saint Jacques de Compostelle. It is here. For sure it will take a lot of days, so if I'm able to do this, I will. I just don't know, because several hundred kilometers is not some travel you do frequently, for me, for example. So let's see what I can do, and maybe till the end, till the Atlantic Ocean. That's the landscape you can see around. It's so beautiful here. The road is actually the road you are on. It's paved, but sometimes you have to go on the dirty road, and that's wonderful. And not too many cars passing by here, so it's pretty peaceful and silent. A lot of other travelers on the route. You're not alone here. Camino de Santiago, as I said, sometimes it goes along the paved road, but almost no cars. At least for 2 hours I haven't seen any. And now it's completely off-road. Only by foot it's accessible now. It's good to have such habitation in high mountains. In the case of emergency, you can hide inside of it instead of putting up a tent, because on strong winds usually it's hard to put up a tent. You know that Pyrenees Mountains is a natural border between France and Spain. But besides that, it seems like they don't have any sign of the border. For example, when I did trekking between Chile and Argentina, in the south of Chile to South Argentina, they have a trail and the sign of the border on the trail. And here they have nothing. Maybe later I will see. But I understood that I'm in Spain already because of this sign. At first it shows months which you are allowed and not allowed to go Camino de Santiago, this part of the route. You see, they marked months which are dangerous for crossing the pass of the mountains. And below that, just below the emergency phone number, you can see Naforaco, Gobierno de Navarra. And the sign, I think it's Spain now, and resolution, it's clearly Spanish language, not French anymore. So I can say that officially I'm in Spain now, not in France. That's how long it will take to finish Camino de Santiago from day one. 765 kilometers. So I can't film every second of my trip. It's better to come yourself and to see everything by yourself. That's the kind of landscape I love most of all. Mountains and snow. Here in the Pyrenees Mountains, on the Camino de Santiago, you can find this house, which is built for the case of emergency. And inside of it you can find enough firewood, place to sleep, and even stove. This altitude you can see conifer trees in Spain. Here from this mountain pass you can call for help. You can push this button to call for help. And it's written that you can find free Wi-Fi here, but at least for now it's not true. I checked on my phone, it doesn't work. It's charged by solar panels and wind generator. That's what I saw at the end of the first day on the Camino de Santiago. Some fortress. This place actually is called Roncesvalles. It's the first Spanish town you encounter on the trail, and it's not too big for modern standards, at least. It's just fortress here. I'm still on the high altitude because you can see I'm in Spain and this is a birch tree. There are more conifer trees and many birch trees too. Aquí en esta ruta Camino de Santiago yo encontré a José, un hombre que vive en este pueblito, muy interesante. Siempre es muy interesante para hablar con gente local.
Sí, conocer gente local, muy bien.
Para conocer cómo gente viva en todo el mundo.
Hablas muy bien español. Déjala.
Oh. La guerra. Sí. Este en medio.
Sí, gorda y... Yo, quieto.
I went to the local bakery and asked if they have some bread of yesterday so I can buy it for lower price, but they were so kind and gave it to me for free. 13th of April, the second day of my journey, Camino de Santiago journey, and this day it wasn't as exciting, as interesting as the first day of the trip, I think, because earlier yesterday I had a chance to see mountain passes, snow peaks. It was just more exciting. What I made here, I'm drying my socks here, and I'm going to have a rest for at least 2 hours after 5-hour walk today. Now it's time for reading and for editing new videos. On the way you can encounter sources of water like that. They build them along the route. And this one, for example, it is written that it was built in 1917. Water still running. It's very easy to find a good place to stay in a tent on Camino de Santiago. You see, there is plenty of place to put up to several hundred tents. But no one will, because most of the tourists, most of the pilgrims, so-called, they stay in hostels and hotels, and in hotels specially built for pilgrims. They pay for the special card, which means that they are pilgrims, and they have a right to stay in each of hotel. It's a network of hotels for pilgrims for 10 euros. That's how people travel. They go from one town to another town, about 25 kilometers a day. They pay about 3 or 5 euro for this special card, 10 euro every night per hotel, and they travel with a very light, not big backpack. And on this trail I always being asked why my backpack is so large, because people, they do not understand that I have to bring sleeping bag and my tent all on myself, because I live all by myself, not in hotels but in the forest. A Spanish church built in 13th century. Sometimes, if you want to know, if you are interested in problems of some country, you don't have to open a newspaper. You just have to look at walls of this country. Someone wrote this is Spain, esto España, and someone added no. Basque people, they pretend to be separate from Spain. Basque people, they live in this part of country and also from at the other side of Pyrenees Mountains in France. It's more or less like a fish or a dragon, I don't know for sure. This fortress reminds me of La Habana. They have similar towers on the walls on their island fortress close to La Habana, Cuba. This town is called Iruña. It's still the Camino de Santiago route, and here you can encounter this symbol on the sidewalk which symbolizes Camino. There are many of them along this street and other streets you can see, and one of the local stores they decided to use this sign in their business. The same arrow, the same sign, the same symbol you can encounter on the trail. Every step is marked with these symbols and these arrows, and they put it to the store. I think it's very good idea for a town like that, which is on the route Santiago, Camino de Santiago. April 14th, 2019, day of the journey number 3. I mean Camino de Santiago journey, because first day of the journey was when I left St. Petersburg by hitchhiking, but now it's the day number 3 of Camino de Santiago, and today I passed Pamplona and Iruña. Little bit tired today, maybe because I had to move through a big town, but everything is great, by the way. I still have power to continue this trip. landscape you encounter during your journey influences a lot your psychological state. I noticed that when I walked through the city, I felt a lot more tired than now. A big advantage of going along the Camino de Santiago in evening is that you will encounter no people at all. I'm here alone. Literally everybody who has this special card for pilgrims, who lives in hotels for pilgrims, they have a special schedule, and usually they walk about 5 hours a day from morning till midday and afternoon. And in the evening, like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., no one walks along the route, and it's beautiful. My phone shows that I walked about 30 kilometers today. I was walking for 3 hours in the morning and 6 hours in the afternoon. Eventually, late at night, I came to this village, and I asked one of the locals if it's allowed to sleep in a tent right in the village on the football field. But he advised me to choose another better place in front of the church. There is a small garden where it's easily you can put a tent there. But he said that there is even a better place than that, and this place is under the roof of the church. At the entrance of the church there is a bench, and he said you can sleep here, no one will bother you, not police, not any locals, because this is a very small Spanish village, about 140 men living here. And so I came to this place. This is entrance to the church. So I came to this place, and I decided to stay here because it saves time. Today I'm tired, and if you don't have to put a tent, then you won't have to pack it later in the morning. So I decided to stay here. It's actually a beautiful place with a roof, and the village is very quiet and peaceful. And later this man, he came to this place to find me and gave me some food. He said, this is what I can give you, I want to help you, and he gave the bottle of rice milk, some bread, that is some kind of butter. I didn't understand quite well what is it, but I think it will work for me because I'm hungry. This village is very hospitable. Spanish people are great people. It's so amazing to be here, to be as a part of this journey. It's very, very interesting to be here. That's where I am sleeping tonight. There are many places in this world where life hasn't changed at all since centuries ago. For example, this town in Spain. I had a hard time today looking for a place for my tent for staying at night, and as I was walking out of the town called Estella in Spain, I didn't actually walk out of it. I'm on the edge of the town, so I placed my tent close to the monastery, to the Catholic monastery, on the some place, it's playground or something. I think it will be okay, but I have no other choice today, and it's still raining. It has been raining for many hours. This is the place I've spent my night during this heavy rain. Several times during my journey through the fields of Spain, I encountered this curious building made of stones. It has almost spherical shape, and it reminds me of stoves in Bolivia. Stoves which I saw in Bolivia, but they have smaller size, and of course it's not a stove. The symbol of Camino. This is what it looks like to be on Camino de Santiago in the city, because the trail, it runs not only through the nature and rural landscape, countryside, but through the modern cities too. Today is 18th of April. It's the day number 7 of my journey on the Camino de Santiago trail, and today in the morning I had a lot of rain again. It lasted for several hours, and you know, when it's raining, your shoes they become wet, and it influences a lot how you can go, how you can feel yourself on the journey, because when your legs, when your feet are wet, it's really uncomfortable on journey by foot. For example, if you travel by hitchhiking, you can be wet sometimes, but eventually you find yourself in someone else's car, and it's warm and it's very, very comfortable. Here you every day, literally your daily life, it's on open air. If your shoes become wet in such conditions, they will be wet for a long time. And yesterday I made the record of this journey in one day. Yesterday I walked over 37 kilometers. It was a long walk. It took me 11 hours to do it. I wasn't very fast, as you can count from these numbers. 37 kilometers in 11 hours, but I was so tired that when my tent was ready, when I made it ready, I went to sleep immediately, and I didn't have any power to, I didn't have any ability to cook something for myself. I was so tired. It's the longest time I have ever been on a journey by foot, 7 days without stop every day. Like, you get up and you walk and you walk and you walk, and I have 3 more weeks ahead, 3 more weeks of long walk. That's how it is, and I'm happy about it. It's not hard to be happy when it's when conditions are so easily acceptable, like now, no rain. I'm happy. I'm so happy it ended for today, and I hope it will not appear back. I was started to think about a place for putting up a tent maybe 2 hours ago, but when I left one of the villages, I could hardly find any good place for my tent. As you can see, all the space around me, it's mostly open fields with no protection, visible to others. I don't want to be visible by others, and finally I want to prepare a meal on my gas stove, but it is impossible because of the rain. So I decided, I was looking for some shelter or something like that. As I showed before La Rioja, I could find a lot of such places, some stone buildings made by peasants, and I showed these places before, but after La Rioja they disappeared, and finally I noticed one place which resembles what I saw before, but it's you will see. I saw it from far away, this building made of stone, and I would be happy if it's clean and dry, so I can spend the night there. Let's look on what I found. For 2 days I had no opportunity to cook a hot meal on my gas stove, so I have to find such a place to have a comfortable life for today. It seems cozy inside. It's relatively clean. The floor is made by dirt, but it's dry. It's like a gift from heaven to have such a building for today. I'm so happy to find this. Here I am in my new habitation, my stone house. I'm preparing food right now. As I started looking around my new apartment, I noticed there are several holes in the roof so water can enter the house, and only the place I put myself only this place is dry. Okay, this place is not perfect, but it's certainly not the worst place to spend night in the field if it's raining. But here where I'm staying it's relatively dry. Some drops here, but not anything dangerous. It's almost time for sleeping. I will edit my new videos. I will read a book for some time. I started to read a book about creation of the company called Amazon.com. Everybody knows this bookstore and everything store. This book called Everything Store. 90th of April 2019. Wow, it was a wonderful night. It was really cool. This place I put myself on, it's still dry. You can see it. The floor made of dirt, but this is dry dirt. And less than 1 meter away, you can see the wet dirt. It's the water which dropped from the roof, which has gaps, some invisible gaps. It was very comfortable, also wind could enter through the open doors, but in my sleeping bag it was still very good. I tried to dry my shoes. Today, eventually, I found a way to get a shower, and that's so amazing to be able to wash yourself on the day number 8. Finally, I will explain what happened to me just recently. I was walking through the town which is called Santo Domingo, Spain, which I reached today in the afternoon. And I went to one of the hotels, special hotels for pilgrims, which called albergue here. And earlier I talked about such places. When you have a special card for pilgrims, you can stay there with a special price. And usually people accepted there only with this special card. And when I first went to albergue in Rosensvalles, I asked for the shower, just for the shower to wash myself. And they rejected. They said it's only for official pilgrims, not for tourists like you. and they didn't want to provide me with shower only. But I decided to give one more try, and I went to this place which was on my way, and I asked if I can I use your shower. I will not pay for habitation, I will not pay for your hotel price, your albergue price. I will just pay for the shower or use it for free if you allow. And for my surprise, they agreed. The receptionist agreed, and he said you can pay whatever you want, you can use our shower, and after that you can pay whatever you can. So I went upstairs to the shower, I used the shower, well, it was great, it was so amazing to be there. It's the day number 8 of my walking by foot along this Camino de Santiago route, and I didn't have any shower since I believe 10th of April, and now is 19th of April. So I was so happy. And later, after the shower, I went downstairs to talk with this receptionist, with this man, and to give the price I wanted to give for that. I wanted to give some money at least for using the shower. But then I encountered another receptionist at the place, and he knew all my story already, because the previous one he told him everything, and he said that he asked me if I want to stay here at night, if I want to stay overnight, sleep at this place. I said no, because I have my sleeping bag, I have my tent, so I can stay in the forest, and I just used your shower. And but he answered that you can stay here, I will pay for you. The receptionist said that he will pay for my stay in this albergue, in this hotel for pilgrims. So of course I agreed. Of course it was no question at all. Of course I agreed, and he asked me if I have a special card, special tarjeta, as they say here in Spain, for pilgrims. I said no, I travel unofficially without any card. So he made me one, and as I said before, it is not free. Usually you have to pay 3 euros for making this card, and then you pay 10 euros for each of your stay in this hotel. But he made this special card for pilgrims. He made it for me for free. It is so amazing, and he made a stamp. I will show you it just in a second. Now I'm a pilgrim officially because of this card which he gifted me. It is such an amazing place, such an amazing town. This is official credentials of pilgrim. Please remember this place where I was hosted for free by a receptionist. Number 38. The location of this albergue in Santo Domingo, Spain. Please remember this place. Very good place. This guy from reception who offered to stay for free in this albergue, he approached me during the dinner yesterday, and he gave me as a gift a big bag of food. It contained pasta, it contained some tuna cans, and some beans canned, also a lot of products, big bag with products. And I'm so happy. I was looking for a shower. accidentally I found this albergue, this hostel. I entered it, and I received a lot of gifts, a lot more than I expected there. I didn't expect any gifts, though. I just wanted to get a shower, at least even for money, maybe for small money like €1, but they allowed me to stay for free and to take a shower for free, and gave me a lot of food. It's such a good place. So if you are in Santo Domingo, Spain, please visit this albergue. This bag with food I received as a gift from reception worker of the albergue. Albergue, I remind you, it's the special hostel for pilgrims, and most of the products I ate already. I've eaten apricots, can of apricots and can of beans, but there is some food left. For example, tuna, cans with tuna, and here it's written in Spanish that it's prohibited to sell this tuna. It's specially prepared for free, for special program, for help for homeless people, people who need help. This is why it's made, not for selling. Alimentos gratuitos, prohibido su venta. And I have also this really big pack of spaghetti here. The end of the day, the end of 20th of April, and I found a playground for cooking. This is my gas stove, and I'm preparing my meal. I'm preparing spaghetti, which I was gifted in albergue, and I will eat all this with a can of tuna. Yes, this is how it works. This is my cooking place. There is my tent over there, and a small pool. I have a small pool. You see how long it is. It is small, but it's long. And according to the footsteps on the ground, I think horses sometimes visit this place. It's a water source for them, and also for me. I use this water for cooking today, 21st of April 2019, Camino de Santiago. Now it's about 2 hours as I'm walking on this road and surrounded by this forest. I haven't seen such thing since like maybe for 10 days. I didn't see such a big forest. The temple in the village, which is called San Juan de Artega. Second part of the day, and the character of the forest has changed. Camino de Santiago. Someone made circles with stones in this field. I managed to reach Spanish town Burgos. It's quite big, about 200,000 population of this town. And right now I would be glad to stay in a tent, to sleep somehow, but I have to exit this town before that, to find an appropriate place in a quiet corner in the forest somewhere. As for now, I made about a little bit more than 30 kilometers, and I'm not sure how much more I will have to go today, maybe up to 40. I hope it's not more than 40. The large part of Camino de Santiago trail is as beautiful as you've just seen. This route, it has a lot of picturesque panoramas, a lot of beautiful landscapes. Very nice to travel here. But I should also add that there are some parts of this route that are not as exciting. For example, yesterday I passed through large industrial part of town of Burgos, and sometimes the route it goes along these industrial parts of the cities and along some highways. So it's not as exciting, it's not as interesting to go along these parts of Camino de Santiago. The village I've just been, it has a population of only 60 or 66 men, and the next village 7 kilometers away from this place, it has about 60 people living there too. So what I want to say is, in the area with small villages and small town, nature is preserved better. I'm so impressed that Spain still has these small peaceful villages with little population, with minimum cars, with a lot of birds and plenty of ancient buildings. You see these roofs. I slept this night in this stone building dedicated to Saint Bridget of Sweden. She made a journey on Camino de Santiago in 14th century, and it's raining again this night, so I was happy to be here. I'd like to say thank you, Saint Bridget, for hospitality, but I have to go. I have no clue on what was that. Maybe some old windmill. Who knows? was just walking along the Camino de Santiago, and I was surprisingly invited to this beautiful place, to this Italian church. People are very hospitable here. "24th of April 2019, all day spent in my tent because of the strong wind and rain, which it lasts for all day. It lasted for all day, this type of weather, and I'm still wet. My shoes were still wet from yesterday evening heavy rain. So I wasn't able to dry myself from yesterday, and today it's raining. It has been raining since early morning, and I can't cook any meal for myself because of the wind. I eat oatmeal, dry oatmeal, without water, without anything. Yesterday, all day long, I was staying in my tent because it was raining. It was raining all day, and I do not regret that I spent the day in my tent. I was reading, I was preparing future videos, so and I had a good time for relax. And today it was raining too, but not as much as yesterday. I was walking along the road, and suddenly very black clouds appeared on the horizon. It started to approach me really fast, and then it started. Then this rock and roll started, and out of nowhere I found this shelter. There are so many shelters on the Camino de Santiago, and for many kilometers I was walking through the fields, no shelter, nothing at all, and it's just like a gift from heaven. Thank you, heaven. Thank you, universe. next village. You can see 8 kilometers. And the broken Spanish house. The ruins of Spanish house. Tonight I'm gonna stay in this forest. It seems peaceful and the surface is flat. I'm not going to throw my fresh tea into the boiling water. You have to wait a little bit to cool it down. It tastes really good, and what is better, it's healthy, it's natural, it's truly natural, hand-picked tea. I found an abandoned swimming pool in the field near the road. It is a weird place for a swimming pool, so I think maybe it was some agricultural reservoir for water. Yesterday in the evening I should have walked a little bit further, so I found this place today. Very good house to stay, little bit of chaos here. Some pipes lying on the floor, but the table is very good. And it has a stove with a chimney. Very good. And there is a source of water near this house. ¿Cómo se llama este pueblo?
Calzadilla de los Hermanillos.
Calzadilla de
Sí, es difícil, es complicado. Calzadilla de los Hermanillos.
Calzadilla de los
Sí.
Hermanillos.
Que viene de calzada, calzada de los peregrinos, y Hermanillos porque había, dicen que antiguamente había una congregación que atendía a los peregrinos antiguamente cuando no se hacía con estas así, cuando se hacía el camino duro.
Ah, y ahí tiene monasterio.
No,
No.
de eso no queda nada. Eso hubo luego unos años que esto se apagó y no queda nada. Porque antiguamente, yo cuando era un chaval, los peregrinos que venían con mucho harapo y sin... No venían con todas estas cosas, venían...
Sin nada.
Nada. Una concha y un palo y a veces se les daba de comer en las casas.
Y antes peregrinos no como turistas,
No,
sin,
no, no,
sin
no,
nada,
no.
como gente...
Convencidos de que era una cosa religiosa. Eso de hacer
Pasaban de Francia,
Sí,
desde Francia, pero aquellos que iban con el bordón, la botella de esta aquí
Sí.
en el palo para beber agua, ahora no había botellas, no había calabazas.
Ahora ya se ha comercializado. Ahora
Sí.
ya intereses económicos, ¿no? Ya es distinto. Turismo, otra cosa, que no tiene nada que ver con los inicios del camino. Ahora es otra historia.
Ahora mucho turista. Turigrino, turigrino. No peregrino, turigrino.
Y muchos negocios para vender y para... Muy bien.
Y es normal, joder, pero hoy en día no estamos en la Edad Media.
Ya, hombre, que sí,
tiene
que
que
está
haber
bien.
que venga este día,
Bien,
oye,
totalmente de
tiene
acuerdo.
que comer.
here on the stone with the sign of Camino de Santiago, I found this pate suave. It is not open. An expiration date says I can eat it. It can be eaten. It can be eaten until 27 of October 2023. 27 of October is my birthday. I think I will take that. Certainly one more source of proteins. It's good for me. Thank you someone who left it here. The Spanish village called Reliegas, and here I'm so happy because again I was able to get a shower. I got a free shower today again, and I just followed the same tactics as in Santo Domingos, the city. I followed the same tactic. I went to the albergue and asked if it's possible to use the shower without staying in albergue. I'll remind you that albergue is a special hostel for pilgrims. To put it simple, just a hostel, but just because it's on the Camino de Santiago, it's called albergue. So I went there, and receptionist he allowed me to use a shower, and it is fantastic. It is so amazing. I feel myself like a new man, like I was born again, because it's the last time I had a shower, it was in Santo Domingo about 8 days ago. And now I'm thinking that actually I can use this tactic more frequently, and maybe to have a shower more often, maybe every 2 days or even every day. It's just not as hard. You just ask. If they agree, you can use their shower. If they deny, if they reject you, you go to another albergue. On the streets of Leon, Spain. It's Sunday, so everything, absolutely everything is closed. Even big supermarkets, you name it, like Carrefour, it's closed till Monday. Usually it's very hard to prepare something on a gas stove in the open field because it's open for the wind, but today's morning is remarkably quiet. The sun is going down. I'm putting my tent in a pine forest. I've just seen several wild pigs coming from this direction, and as they noticed me, they ran away immediately. And thanks God, because they are not bigger than me, but they are big enough. I even tried to take a video, but I wasn't fast enough. They ran away, and that's good. I managed to find a shower again, but this time it was not for free. Previous 2 times I had a shower, it was completely for free, and this time I paid 2 euros for the shower. Today I decided to put up my tent here. again birch tree between Leon and Santiago de Compostela. On high altitudes it's possible to see birch trees, and that's interesting. It's not unique, there are many of them here. Not on high altitude as in this morning. This morning I saw birches and now it's palm. A big change in one day. The 2nd of May 2019, my tent here. Very beautiful mountain in the beams of sunrise. Here you can see some grapes, and over there is a city called Ponferrada. And what surprised me this night, Ponferrada is a relatively big city. Its population, it has a population of 60,000 people. And I told before about my encounters with wild pigs in Spanish forests at places where I was staying at night. And surprisingly, this night, very close to this city, Ponferrada, and there is some village behind me over there, I just ascended this hill to put up a tent, not far away from civilization, not far away from the village. And you can see several trees here and several trees over there. It's not a big forest. Yesterday I went around it actually, and over there is another field of grapes. So, but wild pigs, they come to this place too. And this night I was sleeping in my tent, and about 2:30 a.m. wild pig came just to this place. You see these bushes? It was over there. It was frightened when I turned the light. It ran away. At this monument you can see how much I was able to walk in 22 days. And one day out of these 22 days, so on 24th of April, I had to stay in my tent because weather conditions were harsh. But all in all, in 21 days, I made 584 kilometers, because it shows the distance from Spain, Rosenzwales, and I started a little bit earlier in France from Saint-Jean-de-Port. 119 kilometers left to Santiago de Compostela, and a little bit more to the Atlantic Ocean. And what is more interesting, I was not only able to make this distance 584 kilometers in 21 or 22 days, but I did it with my backpack, without staying in hostel, just all relying on myself. Buenas tardes. Buen camino. Thank you for the dinner. It was so tasty. It's so unexpected. I've just met a big group of Canadian travelers whom I had met before. Look, what a great place I found today for sleeping in a tent. I want to show you the view from my tent this morning. It's incredible. Today I ended up in the village called Montan, and people here are very hospitable, and they offered me a very nice place to stay in my tent in the village. And they brought me a meal, a really big one. So I'm so happy today. The region of Spain called Galicia, and they have these houses made with rocks, built with these rocks, which have different shape, each one. Today I met a lot of windows like that. I'm not sure if it's called window, because you see it's like a post box, like a mailbox. You can put some newspaper, you can put there. It's so narrow. I don't know the purpose. It is built this way, but you can encounter a lot of that. Para secar
Sí, el
maíz.
sí.
Oh.
Bueno, ahora ya, pero antes sí que había mucho cultivo.
Y con fuego o solamente.
No, por el aire.
Ah,
Eh,
pones maíz ahí, a poner maíz ahí y
Dentro, tiene como una puerta. No sé si- Bueno, abrían aquí la puerta y meten las espigas de maíz. No sé en inglés.
¿Cuál es su nombre?
Mi nombre,
Sí.
Aida.
Aida, España, ¿vives aquí?
Sí, vivo en Palas de Rey.
Mi nombre es Artyom, soy de Rusia.
Ah, encantada.
Y encontré como casa
Sí.
en Galicia solamente.
Sí,
En otras
sí.
provincias no hay.
Sí, eso es solo de Galicia, sí. Y
Ah.
estaba ahí como aislado por los ratones de mouse.
Sí, sí.
Aquí no pueden subir. No pueden acceder arriba,
Ah.
entonces no se lo podían comer.
No puede a subir la mura. No.
Por esto no pueden acceder, entonces se mantenía ahí y se secaba para el consumo de animales.
Girl from the town, local girl, she has just explained me the purpose of why Spanish people built that, and this is built especially for drying corn, and they built it in this way, little bit above the earth, so when it's built this way, mouse can't enter the interior of this construction, and it is used for drying the corn, so no mouse can enter inside, and it is dried by wind passing by through the walls. That's why when the walls are made of brick, the bricks, they have like gaps. This is one made with bricks, and the bricks have gaps so the wind, the air can pass by. This is my favorite. It seems so ancient, and the ancient stone building behind it. Now I'm not very far away from Santiago de Compostela. It's about 35 kilometers from Santiago, and this morning I decided to stay longer in my tent, and there are several reasons for staying in my tent today in the morning. The first one is rain. It was raining all night and it's still raining. The second reason is the state of my feet. I had some little injuries. I have some wounds because I walked about 30 kilometers yesterday, so I have to wait to be in a better state to go further. 9th of May 2019, I arrived in Santiago de Compostela. It's the day number 28 of this journey by foot. In my trips, I've been in 3 Santiago already. This is number 3. The first one was Santiago de Chile, then Santiago de Cuba, and now Santiago de Compostela. What I did in this village, I managed to take a shower again, like yesterday, absolutely for free. I went to albergue municipal, which you can identify. At first, you can ask some locals, and they will tell you which one is albergue municipal, not private one. And then you can identify also when they have a special, special sign, blue sign, if it's Provincia of Galicia. And when I went inside, there was no any receptionist, so I just went directly to the shower, and I took a shower, and nobody was against that. You can just travel with your tent. Sometimes you can take a shower. Most of your showers you will get for free, and sometimes you will pay €1. Like once I paid at private albergue. You don't have to pay more than €1 or €2. €5 is too much. Like when I was in Santiago and I went to one of the private albergues, and I asked them, can I take a shower? They said €5. Oh, I rejected that. Nothing is easier than to take a shower for free on the Camino. of May 2019, and 27 kilometers left to the Atlantic Ocean. I started on 12th of April, and I went by foot for over 800 kilometers, and now I'm very close to the ocean. Look what I found. This is a road. It's a paved road, but not too many cars here. And this is the cross. I decided to put up a tent at this quiet place. It's so quiet, you can hear up on this hill, not very far away, not too far. There is a glade with a low grass, very comfortable for staying in my tent. The last day of this Camino de Santiago journey. It's only 26 kilometers left to the ocean, to the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm so excited about it. This meeting, this encounter with an ocean, it's kind of special for me. I've seen Atlantic Ocean several times during fly over Atlantic Ocean on my journey to South America and to United States. But now you can imagine that when I started it was almost about 900 kilometers to this final point, and now in 26, and after 1 month of walking purely by foot, the last challenge of this journey, to reach the lighthouse near the town Fistera. Now it's about 1 kilometer, the last kilometer of this journey. As you can see, my shoes are in relatively good condition after 880 kilometers journey by foot. I have some holes here. I have some places that for sure are not okay, like that, and more holes in this shoe, you can see. But all in all, they survived. I mean, these shoes are not completely broken. You can still go home on them. Not like you finish the Camino and throw them away to the garbage. This night I put up my tent next to the lighthouse on the end of the world, and as you can see, there are not too many people early in the morning, not like yesterday in the evening. It was a very successful experiment because I was able to walk on my foot over 800 kilometers without staying in hotels, without staying in hostels, only one time in a month. And most of the time, like 30 days, I stayed at night only in my tent, and I had my backpack with me, always 20 kilograms, and I brought it from France to here. It was amazing.